when we look at this flower, we look at ourselves, as a subject, and we look at the flower as an object, and start describing a flower. We think of likeness and dislikeness, and all these things interfere and does not allow us to merge with the flower. So if we look at the flower as an ultimate product of the consciousness, we remain conscious of that consciousness which has created that flower. And on the other side, on our side also, so many millions of years of evolution and all the five elements combining, creating ourselves, we are also a flower, a different kind of flower that has more consciousness given to us. So the same consciousness that's within us, if it is looking at a flower and being aware of its consciousness behind the facade of its beauty and the color and the fragrance and the elegance, if you go beyond that, you see the same consciousness that is lurking behind it. And when you merge this consciousness, a thoughtless state of existence that we have, merging with the thoughtless existence of the flower on the other side, we merge at the consciousness level. Then the same mirror starts extending outside, and every experience is being witnessed by your inner consciousness. Every single person, every single object comes and goes, and you remain undisturbed. Whether it's the objects of pleasure, whether it's your friend or your enemy that used to be, all your thoughts start subsiding. We have lost control, and that's why mind has taken over. Without realizing our inner consciousness, mind will keep on bothering us. It's almost like your hand. You always move your arm whenever you want to move it. It doesn't move on its own. When it does start moving on its own, then it's an abnormality. Then you have a seizure. Or it doesn't move when you want it to move, then you have a stroke. Similarly, at the mind level, you have developed a seizure of an organ that has been given to you, which is called mind. Mind operates without your command. Mind is not under your authority anymore. And when extreme becomes the fact, your mind becomes a psychiatric illness, anxiety, grief, stress, all these things build up. People who can still maintain their day-to-day life, they are acceptable. People who cannot handle the excessiveness of the mind, they end up in a psychiatric units. So we have to learn how to manage the mind. We have to know when to use it, just like your arm or a leg. You tell legs when it needs to walk, the legs walk. And when you don't wish for it to walk, it comes to a steady state. As simple as that. But mind is a different story. So we have to learn the technique of handling the mind. It should move when you want it to move. And rest of the time, it remains quiet. In fact, one who has mastered the technique of controlling the mind is the one who can really think well, because his thoughts will be coming from the clarified state of inner consciousness. He will know exactly what to think and what to do in the situation. Other people are divided. When somebody is doing the job of listening, he or she is thinking of 10,000 different things. You may be at work, but your mind may be at home. You may be home, you may be thinking of the work and your children and your friends and your objects of pleasures. Mind is a mess. It cannot think properly. It's almost like mind is drunk by these various objects of obsession. A drunk person cannot operate properly. So go within, find this inner mirror of consciousness. By repeated exposure to it, become one. Live your life like a mirror. Have every single experience. Perceive it as a drama being played in front of a mirror. And then you are in a steady state of bliss. Have a good day.